My peoples, my peoples. Welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. Y'all know what it is, my peoples. We talking boxing. Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, they finally fought. Finally went down. People been asking Jake Paul, fight a real fighter. Fight somebody that gives you competition. And who does he fight? Anthony Joshua. Now, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding this fight. From the moment they said they was going to fight, people said it wasn't real. Right away, the narrative started. It's scripted. It's not real. They're not really going to fight. The first thing is that people were saying this fight was never going to happen. They were saying Jake Paul was going to pull out. They were saying that this was just for clout. This could never happen. Now, very early on, I hate to toot my own horn, but very early on, as soon as they said it was real and it was going into the box rec, I told people this fight was happening. I told people, listen, Anthony Joshua's been about a guy that's been about the fight game. It's a guy who's been about integrity. It's a two-time heavyweight champion of the world. A guy who has the amateur medal as well. So, and this guy says, I signed a contract. I'm going to fight Jake Paul. It's in the box rec. They're going to fight each other. Right away, I told you guys, this fight is going to happen. So for the people who told me, nah, listen, man, I won't believe it until they're in the ring together. Well, I hope you believed it when they got in the ring. But the whole narrative has been, is it real? Is it not real? Are they going to fight? Are they not going to fight? And what did I say was going to happen? Exactly what happened in that fight. So salute to everybody tuning in. Sai is in the building. Victor J, Michael, John Parham in the building. Corey B, salute my brother. MS in the building. My peoples, I'm going to give you the serious breakdown. You better hit that like button. No ghost watching. Daniel Negron is in the building. Salute my brother. Man, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I see y'all been going at it since way before the show kicked off. I'm going to give you guys the breakdown. I'm going to let you know exactly what took place yesterday between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul. By the way, subscribe to Box Center 2.0. Goofiest of the oofiest will be live on Monday. And guess who's our nominee for goofiest of the oofiest? Jake Paul. But we'll get to that later. I digress. What happened in the fight yesterday? I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. And I said this to all my peoples who said that Jake Paul got to get knocked out in the first round or the second round. I said, listen, if he goes in using survival tactics, my peoples, I'm gonna have to look for the video because I've been telling you this for a couple of weeks. So I'm just gonna repeat what I've been saying. You guys know you watching Jay Stradamus at play right now. This is not Jay talking to you. This is not Jay Smith. This is Jay Stradamus. Keep that in mind. I've been telling you guys, Jake Paul is not going to get knocked out early if he's going to use survival tactics such as using the footwork to move around and make AJ chase him, and the clinching. He's going to jab and clinch, grab, maybe take a punch or two, grab, and move around a lot. Survival tactics. And what did we see? Round number one, Jake Paul literally running around, AJ chasing him. Now, there's something that boxing fans love to throw out there. when it fits their narrative. But when it doesn't fit your narrative, you stay quiet about it. How come you guys haven't said nothing about AJ having been in the ring in over a year? AJ hasn't been in the ring since, what, September of last year? A year and 3 months. AJ has not been in the ring. Oh, but this time around, because that doesn't fit your narrative, you don't want to take it into consideration. Now you're like, oh, but AJ looked awkward and he looked like he was scripted. Oh, if it would have been your favorite fighter at your favorite time, you would have been like, nah, yo, he ain't fighting over a year. Come on now, he got that ring rust. He got to get back in it. Ah, but this not your favorite fighter. Or this not what you wanted it to be. So now the ring rust, it don't exist to you anymore. There's no such thing as ring rust to you for this fight. But let the expert tell you. Let Jay Stradamus tell you. Of course, the guy hasn't been in the ring in over a year, and he has a smaller, lighter fighter who's literally running around the ring. And they've been running some more. So my brother MS, you say AJ who goes with the biggest and strongest and most dangerous fighters, blow to blow. It's hard to go blow to blow with somebody that's running for you, my guy. You have to understand that. If a fighter does not engage you, how exactly do you knock him out? You chasing him around and shit. And that's exactly what AJ was doing, chasing him around, pacing him. But what happened? Jake Paul, because he used so much movement to stay away from the bigger, stronger guy, he gassed out. He gassed out. So what did he start doing? He started clinching more and dropping to the floor. Gassed out. Now, what was he doing when he was dropping to the floor? Rolling around like a goofball. He was trying to buy himself time. Absolutely everything to avoid engagement. But ultimately, when he ran out of gas, he could no longer bounce around the ring and make AJ chase him like he did in the first 4 rounds. So now what he started doing, he started trying to jab and grab. Jab and grab. That wasn't going to work. Jake Paul was a fighter that was absolutely outclassed. Absolutely outclassed. And you know when he realized that he was outclassed? In round number 1. In round number 1, there was an exchange where Jake Paul tried to lunge in and throw like 3 punches. Like real fast. And in between those 3 punches, AJ said, bang! Caught him with a right. And he used the footwork to get away. But that very moment in the first round, Jake Paul knew, damn, I'm outclassed by a lot. You see, that's the thing. When you're just watching, you have your expectations of what you think. But I've been in the ring, and I've been outclassed. And I know what it is to look sharp, to look good against somebody that's around my level. My little step back, slip, and then I'm outclassed. So now when I try to do that same slip, bang! What the hell just happened? Jake Paul experienced that same feeling. And I told you guys yesterday, Jake Paul been in training camp, and he's in there with heavyweights, but there's a big difference. When you're in training camp, you there with somebody that's not going to knock you out. You there with somebody that's not going to hurt you. He's on payroll. He's there to help you. He's there to help you go up. So you're never going to experience something like getting in the ring in a professional fight until you do it. All that training camp, that's where you prepare. But if you don't have the skill set or the level of your opponent, this is exactly what's supposed to happen. I want you guys to think about this, right? You start picking at a lot of details that you want to turn it into what you want to believe. But let's just look at the facts. A guy with a little bit of experience fought a guy with a lot of experience. A guy that's never fought for a title for a two-time champion of the world. Exactly what was supposed to happen, happened. And you still don't want to believe in my peoples. Just let that sizzle in your spirit. You grab all these little details and say, no, look, all these little things mean that it could be scripted. But let's just look at the facts, ladies and gentlemen. Those are the facts. The facts are that the two-time heavyweight champion of the world knocked out the guy that we all expected he would knock out. What exactly should be fake about that? The details that you want to be fake. It was a real fight. And Anthony Joshua absolutely pulverized Jake Paul. Wait till you guys... And you know what's crazy? That's why I'm talking to you as Jay Stradamus. What did I say yesterday? Yesterday I said it on Boxing for Breakfast, and I said it at night. I said Anthony Joshua is gonna knock Jake Paul out brutally, and y'all still gonna say it was fake. This guy's jaw, John Parham, you can call it what you want, but look, when he opened his mouth like that, you see his jawline like that sunk in. AJ broke that man's jaw inward. Let me tell you something. Sometimes people's jaw get broken, that they get punched, and simply the jaw goes like that, kang, and it snaps. Kang. Jake Paul's jaw did that. It snapped to the side, right? But the punch was so hard that his gum line, and his teeth up here, those shits dented inwards like that. This dude's gonna need surgery, and y'all still think it's fake. That shit is nasty work, y'all. Nasty work. This dude in the hospital getting surgery with a gum line that is indented. That shows you, my peoples, that you wanna believe in something. You just wanna believe it no matter what. And I said it yesterday. Remember that. I'm just saying. Yesterday I said Jake Paul's gonna get knocked out brutally, and people still gonna say it's scripted. How you see this man mouth like that, broken brutally, and you think it's scripted? You already wanted to believe that. Victor J. Francis arguably beat Tyson Fury. AJ flatlined Francis. Jay got backup from that power. Listen. Jake Paul is, like I said, he lost the way that he was supposed to lose. That's it. That is the way that he was supposed to lose. What happened is what was supposed to happen. Like, this guy's an overwhelming favorite to knock Jake Paul out. He knocks him out like he was supposed to, and people still don't believe it. Come on now. John Parham. So you don't think they had no discussion about how the fight was supposed to go? Definitely had no discussion about how the fight was supposed to go. I'm sure they'd have no discussion about how it was supposed to go. And I'm 100% sure Jake Paul didn't think he was going to walk out with a broken jaw, indented gum line. Hell no. It's a nice... Look, conspiracies make things more interesting. It makes it interesting to start assuming something that fits that narrative. But what really happened is what was supposed to happen. The conspiracies are crazy. Sam Hyde, technically, it was a stoppage. Not technically. Look, let me tell you something, my peoples. And you go check out, I call the fight live. From Jake Paul ran out of gas. You see how he was moving around the ring? All of that? After round number 4, he was cooked. Completely cooked. His legs was gone. And you see, that's the one thing as a fighter I can tell you I noticed right away. Jake Paul went from the wide stance, that allowed him to move around to just standing up. Now he was just standing up. That's it. When you see a fighter who's fighting like this, and you see the legs and the movement, and then you see that they stand up, and now they fighting standing up. The legs is cooked. That's it. They done. His legs was absolutely jelly from all. So the plan was, we're gonna run around, we're gonna make him chasers, and he's gonna gas out. And there was people even saying it during their live. Yo, Jake Paul's gonna gas out. Watch, he's gonna gas out, and he's gonna get caught with something. Did you guys not see? Look how easy. What was happening, I was calling it, and I was seeing it real time. Jake Paul moving around, and then he would lunge in with a jab, bang, bang, and then try to move around again. And then he would lunge in with a jab and a looping right hand, bang, bang, and then try to back out again. He thought he was going to be able to do that and eventually gas AJ out, and that wasn't going to happen. And I told you guys, a championship caliber fighter in an 8-rounder, he's not going to gas out. AJ done been there for 12 rounds, banging it out with the bangers, slugging it out with the sluggers. He gonna gas out in an 8-rounder? Of course not. Of course AJ wasn't gonna gas out. So what really happened is that Jake Paul was bouncing around, ran out of gas, and when he ran out of gas and tried to resort to clinching and falling to the floor like a goofball, he was buying time. Did you guys not see when he tried to act like his leg wasn't good? Yo, he was dying to quit at that point already. Because he knew, I'm outclassed and I'm out of energy. I'm cooked. He already knew what was coming. Jake Paul couldn't wait for that fight to end. By the time he got knocked out, trust me, he wanted out. I can see that he wanted out. So, no. Stupples. Jake Paul made 90 mils. How is he a goofball? No. When it comes to business, Jake Paul is one of the best businessmen in boxing. But him actually saying that he's going to beat Anthony Joshua, and if he's believing it, he a goofball. He a goofball. And he was out there looking like a goofball, rolling around the floor. Y'all didn't see when he looked awkward throwing punches too? Looking scared. You think if it was scripted, he would have been throwing those punches? Listen, yesterday, we're going to be playing this thing forever. I'm going to tell you how the fight would have really played out if it was scripted. If this fight was scripted, Jake Paul would have been competitive. If it was scripted, Jake Paul would have been landing some good jabs and had AJ moving. If this fight was scripted, Jake Paul would have had some highlight moments that we could have been looking at today and be like, yo. But you think that Jake Paul was going to script a fight where he going to look like a goofball and ultimately get his jaw broken brutally? Come on, my peoples. What? Who the hell, a guy of Jake Paul's stature, who's making as much money as he's making, who's doing what he's doing in boxing, he's going to script a fight where he's going to look like a dummy, getting beat up out there, and ultimately land in a surgery bed in a hospital? Come on, my peoples. What's scripted about that? There's absolutely nothing about the way that this fight played out from the first presser up until yesterday. Nothing that looks scripted. Other than we think, and you start, theorizing and putting all these things out of thin air, literally, to say, yeah, look, it was scripted. Come on, man. Shot God. It's possible for Jake to win. Not versus a world champion. It's not possible. He ain't beating no world champion. He not. He not that type of fighter. He's making millions, no doubt. And he's going to continue to make millions of dollars. Because I told people, Jake Paul losing is not going to make his stocks drop. It's not. Because then we also have to accept this guy stepped in the ring with AJ. He says that now he's going to go for a cruiserweight title. He's going to get beat up in that division too. Any division that he can make the weight and fight a world champion, he getting beat up. Because you have to understand, Jake Paul couldn't even beat the guys that you normally have to beat to get a shot. He just got the level of popularity. That's it. That's all it is. Fight Night Frank, as a pure real boxing fan. Thank God AJ beat his ass. You will not see Jake in boxing again. So I got to tell you, my brother, a lot of people wrote to me, and even yesterday in the chat said they felt a sense of satisfaction finally seeing Jake Paul get knocked out. But I got to tell you, my brother, you'll see him again. He's not going anywhere. Trust me. You'll see him again, and you'll see him again in big fights because it's a business. And other boxers, look how many people calling out Jake Paul. Even Tim Bradley, bro. Tim Bradley's out there. I'll fight Jake Paul and this guy at the same time, but it got to be both of them. It got to be both of them I'll fight. Like, that shit look goofy as hell, but everybody want to fight Jake Paul because it represents a big money fight on a big stage. So, I'm sorry, my brother, to tell you, but you will see Jake Paul again. Sam Hyde, what if he cuts weight and fights Canelo? He get beat up. Jake Paul cannot. Look, I expected a brutal knockout. And I said it over and over and over. Because there's too much of a gap in skills between Paul and Joshua. It's too much. It's the only thing we should have expected. And when it happens, people still think it's scripted. I don't know what to tell you, my peoples. Salute to everybody tuning in on Box Center with Jay Smith. Salute to everybody tuning in on the behind the scenes, Box Center 2.0. My people, subscribe to Box Center 2.0. Goofiest of the Oofiest is going to be lit on Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Jake Paul is the nominee for Goofiest of the Oofiest. For trying to convince us that he could be AJ. For trying to convince us that he's one of the best. And getting beat up the way he got beat up, rolling around the floor like a golf ball. He's being nominated Goofiest of the Oofiest. We got to talk about this on Monday. Some guy, the skill gap. God damn, I lost it. Some guy, the skill gap was insane. AJ tried like 25%. I don't think AJ tried like 25%. I think he was just waiting to catch him. I'm going to catch you. All this running that you're doing in these early rounds, you ain't going to keep that up for 8. USA, fight was fixed again against Paul. Sam Hyde, Fury will have slept him and won. You forgot that Fury got beat up by Francis Ngannou? Don't forget that. Boxing por vida. Crawford needs to fight Jake to prove he's the best. You need a 24-hour break to prove that you're not a goofball. David Rodriguez, I'm sorry. Boxing is for still alive for the elder generation. I don't understand why would you say the elder generation. Shakur Stevenson is 28 years old. Devin Haney's 28. Teofimo Lopez is like 28. Bam Rodriguez is like 25. What are you talking about? Carmel Moulton isn't even 21 years old yet. Abdullah Mason isn't even 22 years old yet. Damn, there's a lot of great young talent out there. I'm not sure. You got me confused, fam. Vil, I never an instinctual need to wanna. I don't know, man. I don't know. Danny on the ground. Tim Bradley is a real goofball and a biased commentator, man. Tim Bias do be biased. He do be super, super biased. And now he talking about he want to fight Jake Paul. David Rodriguez. But it will die with guys. You're think about it. You're here talking boxing. You're here talking boxing. Exile. John Parham. He probably asked the last 4 rounds to started boxing. Ooh, the conspiracies. I mean, look, I understand that the conspiracies make it more interesting. You know, with the conspiracies, you have more of a storyline. But at the end of the day, come on, my people. Look at that broken jaw. The gum line is twisted to the inside, my peoples. John Parham, I think AJ was fighting 70% at best. Well, I think if you watch any fight in the first round, second round, nobody's going at 100%. So that's the process of feeling each other out and figuring everything out. So I think that's fair. Take some time to work yourself in, especially after over a year of inactivity, which I know you guys want to disregard, doesn't really fit the narrative and whatnot. Shot guy. I love to see any of these people running their mouth. Box Jake. So, shot guy, I just got to tell you, Jake Paul knocks out everybody in this chat. Jake Paul knocks out everybody in this chat. Unless we got a pro fighter in here around that weight class, Jake Paul knock out everybody in this chat. Brutally. Brutally. The outside sports. Whoa, a professional versus amateur. Next subject. Well, Jake Paul is a professional fighter. And there's people out here who actually gave him a chance. They were like, yo, this guy, he got it. He gonna upset. Do you know how many people put money on Jake Paul? How many people put money on Jake Paul thinking that he was gonna pull off the massive upset? People going on social media and these these boxing YouTubers that don't know shit about boxing telling you guys about how they know the fix is in and watch Jake Paul's gonna pull off the biggest win in boxing history and flip everything upside down. Come on, man. Come on, man. Look what Anthony Joshua did. And I said it yesterday. He's gonna knock him out brutally. And people still gonna say the fight is scripted. How can you look at Jake Paul mouthpiece? Look, my peoples. My man's gum line is indented. And I'm gonna tell you once again. When you get your jaw broken, right? You could get punched and your jaw go like that to the side, chop, right? And it snaps and you got your jaw broken. AJ punched Jake Paul so hard that it pushes shit to the side, but he indented his gum line. Look at his gum. His whole gum line and teeth is twisted to the inside. And people still think it's scripted, yo. Jake Paul planned to get himself sent to the hospital brutally by a guy outweighing him by 30 pounds. Not only that, listen, if you think the fight is scripted, I want you to take this into consideration. Don't you think Jake Paul would have scripted the fight so he could look good? James Hurtado, Jake Paul is surrounded with yes men. If his team really cares about him, they never would have let him fight Joshua It could have been way worse. That's a good talking point, and I agree with you. But it's about the money. Since it's about the money, we're going to act like you have a shot. We're going to act like we think you could beat him. And I said it yesterday. When you stepping in there and sparring, yo, there's people out there that can hurt you, but they not going to. They're your paid sparring partners. Nothing. Oh, it's real. Jake got heart to step in there. And I gave him his credit for that, my G. I gave him his credit. I said, you know what? Even if he would have got knocked out in the first round, I was going to give him credit. Because he stepped in there with Anthony Joshua, a two-time heavyweight champion of the world, an Olympic gold medalist. What happened yesterday is exactly what was supposed to happen. That's what was supposed to happen. Look at AJ. Look at Jake Paul mouthpiece, my peoples. Look, I want you to consider this. And I'm telling you, if this fight was scripted, here's how it would have really played out. It would have been competitive. You would have seen Jake Paul landing some jabs and moving and going on the inside, and landing some good combinations. AJ blocking, but you know, Jake Paul looking good and moving around. If it was scripted, he would have looked good out there. Would have looked good. But he looked like a goofball, my peoples. Did you not see where he threw some awkward punches, looking scared and shit? And he looked like a dummy out there. Completely outclassed. Of course that shit wasn't scripted. Of course. He went out there looking like a goofball running around the ring. By the fourth round, he was out of gas. Out of gas. Sam Hyde, he looked like a welterweight fighting AJ. Shy guy. I think Jake only landed 3 hits. Now, he landed a few more. And he landed a couple of good jabs that landed hard to the face of AJ. But ultimately, he was way outclassed. He was outclassed. And let me also point out, remember, guys, I was calling the fight live yesterday. In the very first round, Jake Paul attempted to lunge in and like do this, like lunge in and throw a few looping punches. And in between those, AJ did a little bit of a step back and boom, caught him with a right hand. Flush. That was in the first round, like 2 minutes in. From that very moment, Jake Paul understood that he was 100% outclassed. He knew the way this thing was going to play out. He knew it. Shaggy, salute my brother. Victor J, after round 4, I had it 2-2. I gave Jake rounds 1 and 4. I don't know how you gave him those rounds, man. I don't even know how you did that. For real, I don't know how you did that. But if you did, cool. Point is, how do you think that Jake Paul was going to script a fight that he's going to be out there looking like a goofball, rolling around, falling on his knees, looking like a dummy? You think you're going to script a fight so you could look stupid out there? If it was scripted, he would have looked nice. Even in the loss, he would have looked nice, did some exchanges, had some highlight reels. Look for some highlights of Jake Paul doing something. Out there looking like a dummy. MS, some hardcore Jake fans were calling it a robbery because they believe referee stopped too soon. Jake Paul didn't even want to keep going, man. He didn't even want to keep going. And if you watched the live, or if you were there when I was calling the fight, yo, after round number 4, I said Jake Paul wanted to quit. I'm calling the fight, I said Jake Paul's looking to quit. Because that's it. Once the legs wasn't there anymore, what was going to happen? He started getting punched on. That's it. That's it. K-Biz, AJ put the paws on Paul. Man, listen, all types of hands on him. the left to the mouthpiece, the right to the dome piece, the left to the wig piece, ladies and gentlemen. Devastating blow from Anthony Joshua. What a right shot to the snack box. Come on, man. Benetron. Jake Paul is what, light heavyweight? At the most, probably super middleweight. I mean, look, man, whatever division he goes into, if he fights a world championship caliber fighter, he getting beat up. He not winning those fights. He's not at that level. It's just that simple. Tejan, salute my guy. Robocop, Jake won no round. AJ didn't go past gear 2. Held his power back and could have destroyed Jake Paul if and when he chooses. I'm going to have to disagree with you on that. Because, like I said, right now, the reality that AJ hasn't been in the ring in over a year is going to skip past everybody's mind because it doesn't fit the narrative, right? We only say, oh, he's been inactive, when it fits the narrative that we want to push. AJ's a fighter who hasn't been in the ring in over a year, about a year and 3 months, or a year and 2 months, something like that. So guess what? He was rusty out there. But not only was he rusty, you can't knock out an opponent that's not going to engage you. Jake Paul was, number one, that ring was bigger than the usual ring size. So it gave Jake Paul a lot more room to operate. How do you watch this guy literally running from Anthony Joshua and think that he's just going to knock him out? Yo, Anthony Joshua can't just take his fist off and throw it at you across the ring and knock you out, bro. You have to engage each other. The notion that you just knock people out, because yes, it doesn't work that way. You have to engage. You have to have a dance partner that's going to stand there with you so you can knock him out. If he's going to run around, how are you going to knock him out? We watched Jake Paul do that for 4 rounds. He didn't engage. You don't knock people out just because you're a knockout artist if they're not there to be knocked out. Shaggy, he was outboxed and outmatched by a landslide. By a landslide. It's like you was watching a guy who's mad nice versus a bum. That's what happens when you're outclassed. And I'm telling you this, my people, from personal experience. As an amateur boxer, I won fights for guys that I was better than them. But guess what? I got to spar with professional fighters who absolutely outclassed me. Because let me give you an example. My last amateur fight was in the New York City Daily News Golden Gloves. Semifinals. And I lost that fight. And I wasn't outclassed. It was a good fight. It was competitive. We went back and forth. Bam, bam, bam. We was trading some nasty leather. He got me. He beat me. He outboxed me. I got outboxed. But as an amateur boxer, I never got outclassed. But versus another amateur boxer. But I sparred a professional and I got outclassed. Like there wasn't shit I could do. My jab wasn't landing. My feints wasn't working. My little step backs, I was being countered with everything I was doing. He was just a step ahead of everything that I could do. There was just nothing I could do. I tried everything. All the things that worked versus my level opponents at the amateur game was not working versus that professional or those professionals that I spar with. I got outclassed by professionals. I know what that's like. I know the feeling. And when Jake Paul got hit with that right hand in the first round, boom, he already knew he was outclassed. You see, when I sparred with professionals, when I sparred with Agapito Sanchez, in the first round, I knew right away I was outclassed. Right away, I knew. Why? Because I tried to step in with a 1-2. This dude went down low and gave me a left and a right, pop, pop, to the body, while my hands were still out here. I'm like this, my people. My hand is out here, and I'm like, pop, pop. Oh, shit. This motherfucker didn't even give me time to block. Just punch. punch me like that. It's different when you outclass my people. Which, by the way, hit that like button, man. Y'all doing me wrong. Y'all doing me wrong because I'm telling you the truth. Because I'm telling you, look at that jawline, B. Look at that gum line. Whole gum line twisted to the inside. How you going to think that's fake? And I told you guys yesterday, I told you, Jake Paul's going to get knocked out brutally. And people still going to say it's fake. Hey, Gareth, he could make, it's going through English professional leagues. He's not, He'd be a journeyman fighter at best. I like Tommy Fury. Look, man, Tommy Fury is a fighter who's never gonna get to a high level in boxing. He's a lower level fighter, and he beat Jake Paul. But I have to say, and I hope that you guys would agree, Jake Paul is a lot better right now than he was when he fought Tommy Fury. For sure. For sure. John Parent, Jay Smith. Why did Jake say, whoa, when he got knocked down? I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty sure you got a theory that's going to align with what you want to believe. I would say he just got hit with a real hard shot. That's a great shot. I'm like, whoa, goddamn. But I don't know. I'm assuming that you have a theory that aligns with what you want to believe. I would just say, if you're really asking me that question and you want to answer, he got hit hard as hell. Like, goddamn. And look, the thing about Jake Paul is that he's a guy who he always wants to present an image. He always want to present a character. What he really would have wanted been doing if all the cameras and all the people wasn't there, would have like, but the cameras is there. So he's like, oh, he's always playing for the camera. You think about it. He got his jaw broken. You know how painful that is? And he's going like that to the camera. Man, you know you hurt. You know you hurt. You know you're going straight to surgery from right here. You're not even going home. But for the camera, he's like, he want to act like he having fun, like he having a good time. So Jake Paul's the type of guy that he could be getting pummeled out there. Yo, when AJ started landing those hard shots in round number 5, you saw Jake Paul smiling. So that's just his character. That's just his demeanor. He don't want to show that he's hurt or that he's going down. He still want to show that he's enjoying himself. Now you out there getting beat up and looking like a goofball. My people, give me a 30-second commercial break. Y'all know we talking boxing. Y'all know we talking about Jake Paul. Y'all know we talking about AJ. Is it fake? Is it real? There's going to be the controversy. This is what we talking about, my peoples. I'll be back with you in a minute. Y'all already know what it is. We talking boxing. Welcome to Boxing for Breakfast, man. I'll be back. My people, we in the building. We in the building. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Was it fake? Was it scripted? It was scripted. Jamie McFadden says he hit him about 10%, and he never hit him with a clean punch to the face. I mean, it's tough to say that he didn't hit him with a clean punch to the face. My guy got an indented jawline, indented gum line, indented teeth, all pushed to the inside. That looked like it landed pretty clean to me, bro. Like, goddamn. Gotta lay my people. Jose Cole, he introduced into the world, into hundreds of millions with a broken jaw. Bro, look at the jawline. Look at the teeth. Look, like the gums is inside his mouth, bro. I want you to take that into consideration. The gums, all in there. Mr. Tommy Gunn, Jay Smith brings it each and every time. I was calling it live, and I seen how it happened, and I told you guys that's exactly how it was gonna happen. Hey, Gareth, more than enough to prove he don't want any more of that. Oh no, he's gonna get more of that, just not at that level. He said it himself that he'll be moving down to the cruiserweight division to chase a title there. Like, you're never gonna even beat somebody that can earn you a title shot, ever. Jake Paul will never become a mandatory. Jake Paul will never put... You gotta think about this. He fought AJ, a two-time heavyweight champion of the world, but this wasn't a championship fight. This was an 8-rounder. And he obviously wasn't gonna survive those 8 rounds. In any division that you put Jake Paul in against a world champion, he's going to get beat up, my people. That's the way it's going to play out. MS, that 1-2 by AJ was Olympic experience at its best. Bang! Landed flush. Flush. Brutal shot. Son of Vaughn. Jake Paul should get a tune-up and go for Badu Jake or Guillermo. He get knocked out. Same way. All of those fights play out the same way. The thing is that if Jake Paul is really serious about becoming a champion, he would actually fight contenders and beat contenders. Because that's what's going to get you the experience that you need to get to that level. But if you out there fighting contenders and they beating you up, you can't even get a title shot. So Jake Paul, he doesn't want to fight contenders. He want to skip straight to the top guys. Because he knows all of these. I'm going to put it to you like this. Everybody in the top 40 is beating Jake Paul up. Everybody in the top 40 of any division that he can make weight is beating him up. That's the thing. So if he fights somebody, let's say who's ranked number 12, and get beat up, outclassed, then fight somebody who's number 18, beat up, outclassed, he'll never get a title shot. Jake Paul will never earn a title shot inside the ring, no matter what division he fights in. Prosperity. Americans now respect AJ. Nah, because I'm going to tell you something. I think in the U.S. is probably the place where you see the most conspiracists. So instead of, saying Americans now respect AJ, what you're going to see is more Americans saying that it was fake, it was scripted, and all of that stuff. Son of Vaughn, next fight can be a top 20 cruiserweight. I doubt it, bro. I doubt it. I doubt we'll ever see Jake Paul crack the top 20. Hey, Gareth. Nope. Clive, the ring was massive. No wonder it took AJ 6 rounds to catch up with Jake. You see, that's the ring, Clive. That's the thing, Clive, that people ignore all the factors that extended this fight. They say, look, it was scripted. That's why it took 6 rounds. AJ could have did it at any time. Like AJ could just take off his hand and throw it across the ring and knock you out with it. I don't know what they think. But ultimately, Jake Paul selected a bigger ring so that he have room to operate, so that he have room to move around. But it did not work for long because after the 4th round, he was already out of gas. So what he did when he was out of gas, started jabbing and grabbing, falling to the floor like a goofball, rolling around. He didn't have his legs under him no more. He did not have the cardio, the physical ability to bounce around the ring for 8 rounds. He didn't have that. You have to understand, first fight at heavyweight, first fight weighing that much, and fighting a guy that's bigger than you, stronger than you, and way better than you. Come on now. Come on. What was supposed to happen is exactly what happened. Jake Paul was supposed to get knocked out based on the odds. You look at the betting odds, AJ was supposed to knock him out. So when we get the results that we were supposed to get, how does anyone say, no, they planned that? That was scripted. I don't even understand it. Mr. Tommy Gunn, AJ ain't too well respected with boxing fans in the UK. I heard that they don't like him in the UK. That a lot of people don't like him. Clive Boyce agreed. Jake was expecting too much energy running away, spending. Jake was spending too much energy running away from AJ for the early rounds. All that running, all that movement, how many fights does Jake Paul have? Is it 12? 11, something like that? Whatever it is. He's never fought like that in his life, my peoples. Ever. You think you're going to bring a whole new style of boxing for a world champion and you're going to fight him a whole new way that you just learned and you're figuring out now that you're going to win with your footwork? It doesn't work that way, man. It only works that way when you inside the gym with sparring partners that you paying them, you giving them a lot of money, so they not gonna knock your ass out. You see, here's the deal. When you have somebody who's gonna take it easy on you, you're gonna look good. He's gonna let you get your jab off. He's gonna let you do your little combinations. That's in training camp. You're paying these people a lot of money. One of them knock you out and they're out of a job. And I'm pretty sure Jake Paul pays good money to the sparring partners. They're not going to go in there and knock him out. Right? So he got his confidence built by these people and stepped in there with a world champion, and you saw it. Braska Rog behind the woodshed, beat down. Bro, the left to the mouthpiece, the right to the nose piece, the left to the wig piece. Devastating blow to twist his gum line to the inside. Look at his joint. Look at his joint. What looks fake about that? You got your jawline, your gum line, your teeth line, all mashing into your tongue. Pushed in. Come on, my peoples. JJ's in there, have 53 people in the building. Come on, man. Hit that like button, my people. Don't do Jay Smith like that. Y'all know we cooking out here. Jose Cole, he kept dropping to his knees. AJ cut protector, then gets jaw rocked. Hilarious. He was out there looking like a goofball. Like a goofball. I want you to think about this, right? If Jake Paul scripted the fight, don't you think that he would have scripted it so he can look good? Don't you think he would have scripted it so that he could be throwing the jab and making AJ miss and landing some combinations? Oh, no, you think that he scripted so that he could have his jawline pushed into his tongue. Look at that shit. You think Jake Paul scripted the fight so that he could go straight to the surgery room? Clive Boyce, AJ knew all he needed was one right hand, and the fight was over. And he had 24 minutes to do that. That's it. He did what he was supposed to do. Did what he was supposed to do. Cadet Jaw Rotten, Wes Dussett, yo, Jay Smith. Paul was hugging legs and calfskin all night, man. He looked like a goofball out there, falling to. At one point, he was even rolling on his back and everything, looking like a goofball. T3 got game. The only script I saw was how long the fight lasted. Man, listen, it's like I said, AJ does not have the ability to take his hand off and throw it across the ring and knock somebody out. He can't do that. He not Dawson from Street Fighter. He's not going to stretch his arm, whoop, boom, and knock you out all the way over there. See, so you got to understand the knockout punches come when we exchange each other. They come when I can set you up, boom, and knock you out. But if all you're doing is this, and I got to follow you, you know, ain't going to be no knockout, my peoples. The 4 rounds, and I just want to say something. Yesterday before the fight, before yesterday, and throughout the week, for everybody that was saying, AJ's going to knock him out in the first round, I kept repeating the same thing. If Jake Paul is going to step in the ring using survival tactics, he can go 4, 5, 6. He can even go the distance if he can use those tactics. And what did we see from Jake? Moving, 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 jab and grab, moving, moving, jab and go, 1, 2 and go, moving, 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 grab, clinch. So what more survival tactics do you want to see than a fighter who's running around the ring and clinching? He used those tactics to survive. By the time they ended round number 4, his legs was jelly. By the time they got to that round, Jake Paul, let me show you. Let me show you. Hold on. I want to show you guys, so you can see for yourself, right? Jake Paul went from having his legs like this. Look at my legs, my peoples. I want you to see. I'm going to show you. He went from having his legs like this, right? And moving around constantly. You see my legs, right? Wide open. He went from that and moving around the way he was moving. And by the time they got to round number 5, now you see Jake Paul like this. Like that. From that point on, you saw his legs up like this. Yo, when you see that a fighter go from that wide stance where he could move around to standing up like this, his legs is cooked. Anytime that you see a fighter later in the fight stand up now, and now he's fighting like this, legs is cooked. Round number 5. Round number 5, my peoples, Jake Paul's legs was gone. So what did he start doing? Jab and grab. Going to his knees like a goofball. Why? He didn't have his legs under him anymore. Anthony Joshua was fresh. Anthony, you take a championship caliber fighter and you put him in an 8-rounder. How you think he's going to run out of gas? How you think a championship caliber fighter is going to run out of gas in an 8-rounder? You're a goofball, Jake Paul, thinking, I'm going to make him chase me, and he's going to get tired. And after he gets tired, I'm going to do him in. You're a goofball. That's pure goofballery. Clive, he got knocked down 3 times. And I'm telling you, he already was out of it. He wanted to get out of that fight already. He already understood. I'm outclassed. This guy's going to hurt me. Damn. Look, did you guys remember the part when Jake Paul... Look, let me show you. Y'all remember the part when he went like that, try to act like he was limping? Y'all remember that? When he went like he was limping? Bro, he didn't even twist his leg. If you watch the video, he didn't twist his leg. Why he limping? Why he was limping? You know why he was limping? Because he wanted to pull out. He wanted an excuse. He wanted to say, oh, my leg, wait, I can't keep going. But he knew inside his mind, damn, people gonna know I quit. He just didn't want to quit because he got that ego. But he wanted to quit. When he did that little limp, he wanted to quit. And then he realized, damn, they're gonna look at the tape and they're gonna know I didn't twist my foot. They're gonna know I didn't twist shit. What I'm say? What I'm gonna say? That my leg felt like it snapped, but it's good. So he had to keep going. His ego didn't allow him to pull off that move. And ultimately, he got knocked out. Ran out of gas. That's all it was. He ran out of gas. He wasn't going to be able to run the whole 8 rounds the way that he did during the first half. He wasn't going to be able to pull that off. And look at this is where you see that he's on some real goofy shit. On some goofballery. Look at every single Jake Paul fight. Right? Every single one of them. You ever seen Jake Paul be the guy that uses the footwork to win fights? You ever seen that? Or he stand there, boom, 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 and bang it with guys and beat them. Because he always got the physical advantage over them. But when have you seen Jake Paul? When have you seen Jake Paul using footwork to win fights? Never. So all of a sudden, you're going to figure out a brand new strategy that you never deployed in your entire short career, B-level, C-level career. You're going to deploy a brand new technique that you learn on a 2-time heavyweight champion of the world. For real? That's what you're going to do. You're going to use your new tricks that you learned on AJ? You're a goofball. That's insane, my peoples. That is absolutely delusional. There was absolutely no chance for Jake Paul to win this fight. What we saw happen is exactly what was supposed to happen. I am Stack Dinero. AJ was toying with that imbecile. Jake Paul was a joke and a disgrace to real boxing boxers. Dorado PR should be embarrassed and disgusted by his antics. So, you know that there's always going to be two sides of the argument, right? Because as a businessman, he's done great. He's done great for himself, and he's doing great for the women with MVP Promotions. It's just his level of skills is way, way, way below from where he tries to portray it. And look, the reason people don't like Jake Paul is because he's a troll. He'll get in front of the camera and say that he's one of the best fighters since Sugar Ray Leonard. And he'll say that shit with a straight face. But if Tommy Fury beat your ass, you don't think you're going to piss people off when you put your name alongside Sugar Ray Leonard? So people just don't like him because all the trolling that he does. But me, myself, and as an analyst, I try to separate the personal feelings from what is everything that's going on from the facts. So let me just say the facts, my peoples, and we got to keep it 100. You guys tell me. By the way, come on with the ghost watching, man. Hit that like button, my people. I'm about to cook for y'all right now. Cooking for y'all. I want you to take this into consideration. We've been asking Jake Paul to fight a real boxer for years. Fight a real boxer. Fight a real boxer. We don't want to see you with 60-year-old Mike Tyson. We don't want to see you with retired, washed-up UFC fighters. Fight a boxer. We've been asking him to do it. And he fought such a big name that people refuse to believe is real. That's how high he stepped up the bar. And yesterday I told you guys, he's going to get knocked out in brutal fashion, and people will still think it was fake. We see it right now. Ajana Haney, before you think about Anthony rematch, he better not think about it. No, he already said. He said he's not fighting at heavyweight no more. He understand that. Ajana Haney honestly believe he can beat Tommy in a rematch. He could beat him. I believe if Jake Paul fight Tommy Fury, he beats him this time around. Because he's a lot. Because if you got to remember, the first fight, it was close. Jake Paul's a lot better than the first time they stepped in the ring. So I got him winning the rematch. Cadet. Boxing. The Hydro Grind. He did catch AJ with a good haymaker, though. I'll give him that. He caught him with a good haymaker, caught him with a couple of good jabs, too. But he was way outclassed. He was way outclassed. Like that. He had no chance. He had no business being in that ring with AJ. Wes does it. Jay got beat up so Alicia could have some shine. Man, to me it's crazy that Alicia Baumgartner fought such a great fight, and it's the co-main event to Jake Paul getting knocked out brutally. Ajana Haney, bro, no, Jake lost. AJ never really felt his power, though. I mean, it's like I said before, when you're outclassed the way that Jake Paul was, you're not going to land your best punches because you're in there with somebody that's just much better than you. Those shots that you normally land on other guys, they're not going to land on this opponent. Kaylana, damn, it's hard to read that. Is it Kaylana? Tommy doesn't put time in like Jake. I think Jake beats him now. I agree with you 100%. 100%, because Jake Paul has been dedicated to the sport of boxing already for the last 6-7 years. People say he's a fake boxer. He can't box, but he's a real boxer and he can box. He's just not at that level. Al Booger, did Jake get his jaw broken? What do you think? Whole jawline, gum line, teeth line pushed in, shoved into his tongue. So yeah, he got his jaw broken. And he got his jaw broken the worst type of way. There's a lot of bad ways to get your jaw broken, but I'm going to tell you why. I mean, from a punch. I'm going to tell you why this is the worst way. When you get punched in your jaw and you have it broken, the most common thing to happen is that your jaw gets pushed to the side, chop, and it breaks, pop, as it goes further than it should. Bang, breaks. Okay. Jake Paul jaw went to the side, but he got punched so hard that his damn gum, teeth line, jawline was pushed in, my people. Look at his joint, man. Gum line looking like a rainbow. That's tough. That's a tough shot to take. And guess what? Today, Jake Paul, he got a lot of money. I'm sure he already got the surgery done. I'm not sure. They probably already did the surgery. Best doctors in the country and all of that stuff. But you know how long it's going to take for that jaw to heal? For him to be able to fight again? That's a heck of an injury that he got in that fight. Al Booger, he got what he was asking for. Got his ass whooped, says JP. Clive, at least it might shut him up for a while. Hopefully. I mean, that type of joint right there, that type of joint, they definitely gonna wire his shit shut. That he get his shit wired shut. He gonna be talking funny. Ajana Haney, Rocky stuff. I honestly believe if he recovers right and get more wins and Tommy rematch, then he can see for Anthony. Nah, I'm telling you, Ajana, he ain't got nothing. He ain't got nothing for world championship caliber fighters. Got his ass whooped. Cadet got his ass busted. JB too. He saw Jesus with that punch. He did look up. Maybe that's what he was looking at. Deshaun Walker, he would never see Anthony. And he said himself he understood. He understood the difference. He says it was only about power, but he also understood the difference in skills. That's why he said, nah, I won't fight here again. I'm going to go to cruiserweight. That's it, he knows. Anthony Joshua didn't kick him out of boxing, but trust me, he kicked him out outside of the heavyweight division. He'll never try that again. That's it. He knows. He understood. Daniel Grind. I know a guy who had that same injury. They say he could spar after 5 months, but it was still too sensitive. He quit boxing because after a year, even soft tapping, the jaw hurt. It's a tough injury to overcome. You know he's going to have some of the best in the countries, maybe even some of the best in the world. Take care of that. But, whoa, what a shot. Ajana Haney. Jake remind me of Rocky when he lost bad, then come back stronger and beat. I mean, he don't have to remind you of Rocky. You know, a movie character, let him remind you of Conor Benn. Conor Benn got beat up by Chris Eubank Jr. and came back to do his thing. Came back and won the fight. A lot of people said Conor Benn was going to get knocked out. Clive, I actually have a bit more respect for Jake after that fight, to be honest. No, listen, I said this yesterday, and I've been saying it. Jake Paul is going to get a lot of credit because at the end of the day, he had the audacity, he had the balls to step in there with a 2-time heavyweight champion of the world. JB too. The Hydro Grind, John Parham. Bam. Telling you, my peoples, the way that he got hurt in that fight is gonna take some time for him to recover. It's gonna take some time for him to be back to normal. John Parham, John Parham, I broke my homie Joe in high school, and shit was cooked for a good 6 months. You see, it's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some time, and you know, depending on exactly how badly the structure was broken too. Jake Paul joint looking like a rainbow, jawline, gum line, teeth line, all shoved into his tongue like that. Come on, man, look. That shit pushing his tongue in. Danny on the ground, Rocky was poor and wasn't raised by the Disney Channel. Yeah, that's a little bit of a different storyline. Frankie, Jake is brave and tough. Gotta give him that. Gotta give him that. He's brave and tough. And I'm gonna say, he got knocked out the way that he did because toughness, but also because his ego. Trust me when I tell you, Jake Paul won it out badly in the 5th round. When he tried to fake a leg injury, he wanted to get out of that fight. And then he was like, nah, man, I'm going to have to go out on my shield. It's going to be a bad look if I quit. And there you have it. He went out like that. But he won it out. He knew he couldn't win that fight. St. Thomas. Nah, that's it. He's wearing the mouthpiece. He's actually wearing the mouthpiece. But look back here, though. Look at his gum line, his teeth line, and his jaw line. All that shit is pushed into his tongue, bro. Look at his tongue right there. Anthony Joshua punched him so hard that he shoved all that shit into his mouth, bro. Look. That's a tough break. Tough break. Come on, my people. Whoa, JB in the building with the super chat vibes. Good show. Keep it up. 100. Jake needed that ass whooping. Salute, my brother. Appreciate it. And I say to everybody, man, listen, it doesn't matter if it's $1, it doesn't matter if it's 50, but whatever you put in to Boxing for Breakfast, much respect to you. That means that you supported me that much more. I appreciate you, my brother. Listen, my peoples. The way that Jake Paul got punched his whole joint in like that. How can anybody say that it's scripted, man? How can anybody say, no. He planned it for that. And he was out there looking like a goofball. He was out there looking like a goofball, my peoples. I promise you. If it was scripted, he would have looked good out there. Braskarov training day, pushed in. Bro, look, you know I ain't lying. Braskarov, you know I never lie, my G. Get it right there. Whole shit pushed into his mouth. You can't even chew nothing right now. You're gonna be eating through a straw. Right now he eating through his neck. 2 left hooks. What's up, Jay Smith? Salute, my brother. What do you think about Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua, and the whole conspiracy? People think it was staged. People think it's a fake fight. It was fixed. Marcus Hector. Is that a hexagon on his teeth? That's the logo to that brand that they pushing. That's a logo to a new brand he got going on. Braskarov liquid diet, oatmeal. Clyde Boyce, I thought it was a scripted until I seen the knockout. And then I went, oh shit, Jake got busted. Now, look, I'm going to tell you why I didn't think it was scripted. I'm going to tell you why. There's a lot of things that I take into consideration for me to even assume something like that, right? Let's think for a second about Anthony Joshua, right? Think about, by the way, salute to everybody tuning in. Another episode of Boxing for Breakfast. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me this Sunday morning. Here's a factor that I take into consideration, JB. Anthony Joshua is a fighter who we know to have his integrity. Like him or not, some people like him, some people don't. But we seen this guy go out on his shield. We seen AJ get knocked out. We seen AJ struggle and get outboxed. And we seen him get to the very top. This guy's never been involved in any type of goofballery, ever. It don't matter. We could say we don't like him. We don't like his skills. He too strong. Whatever it is. But this guy's never been down with no circus show shit. So the moment AJ said, I saw an interview and somebody asked him, do you think that it's crazy that Jake Paul want to fight you? And he said, I don't think it's crazy. He think he could beat me, so we're going to have to see. It's a real fight. We're going to have to see. That's all he said. No trash talking. No, I'm going to do this to him. Just, he said he could beat me. We're going to see. When I saw that from AJ, I was like, yo, this guy feel disrespected. And he should. And I've been trying to tell you guys this. AJ's disrespected. This is actually disrespectful. You really believe, with your limited experience, that you're going to fight a 2-time heavyweight champion of the world and you're going to beat him? That's disrespectful, my peoples. Disrespectful to AJ. So AJ was like, okay. You think you could beat me? The same way that he felt disrespected when Francis Ngannou thought he could beat him. Oh, Francis think he could beat me. Okay. Absolutely obliterated him. Because he's looking at it like, you think you coming from MMA and you can mess with me? Okay, we're going to have to see. I'm going to show you what this thing is about. Did the same to Jake Paul. That's the mindset that he went in that way. JB, I don't think this one was egregious or scripted. He saw his popularity plummeting and he was a joke. Even with his out makeup on TikTok, he had to do that to be taken seriously. Truth. Look, man, when we consider the way that this whole thing played out, it should be obvious that it was a real fight. Jake Paul got made to look like a goofball. He was supposed to get made to look like the goofball that he was in the ring yesterday. No business being there with AJ. That's why he ran around for 4 rounds, and when he ran out of gas, what happened? He got pummeled. That's what was supposed to happen. John Parham, AJ stock should plummet after the performance, in my opinion. It's not going to plummet. It's going to skyrocket. It's going to skyrocket. He gave everybody what they wanted. Cadet, what happened to his mustache? Man, listen, when you get your whole jawline and everything punched in, I think even the mustache gets twisted up. K-Biz, how did they both make $92 million? It wasn't a pay-per-view event. Easy, my guy. Netflix. You see, Netflix makes a lot of money with subscriptions. You know how many people are subscribed to Netflix all over the world? Just think about it. Over 40 million people watch Terrence Crawford beat the shit out Canelo. Over 40 million people. So when you're... Jake Paul already opened up the formula. When you do it on Netflix, you don't have to put it on pay-per-view because Netflix is already making money with the subscribers. We don't consider it pay-per-view, but in a way, it is because you got to pay for that Netflix subscription, right? And guess what? When these fights are about to happen, Netflix gets a huge spike in subscriptions. Don't you know that when there's fights like this, there's people that will subscribe to Netflix for just 1 month just to get this fight? And anything that happens in December, they'll subscribe, December, boom, and that's it. Just 1 month. People do that all the time. So in a way for them, it is pay-per-view because they're paying for the subscription. But then there's more. When you're going to have 40 million people tuning in, 50 million people tuning in, do you know how much money Netflix charge for ad space during that broadcast? You want to do a commercial during the Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua card? You want to put your logo in the ring? Look at the logo they had in the ring, bro. Kentucky Fried Chicken. They had the KFC logo in the ring, bro. We never seen that in our lives. I never seen it. I don't know if that's happened. They had the KFC logo in the ring, bro, in the ropes. You know the type of corporation and the type of money we talking about when there's KFC in the building. So Netflix generates millions and millions and millions of dollars from all over the place. Shout out to KFC. Kentucky Fried Clones. Danny on the ground, I miss Netflix. Side, shout out to KFC. My peoples. Big fight and big money. So Jake Paul unlocked the cheat code so that they can make a lot of money and not have to fight on pay-per-view. That's the cheat code. Without Netflix, this fight, $90, $100. So that they can make the bag, right? They got to charge a lot of money. Now, you got your Netflix? Nah, you can watch it right there. The code has been unlocked. JB2. That's why Netflix bought HBO Max for $72 billion. They got paid ad revenue in a swole. You know the type of ad revenue that they made? Look, forget about the sold out event. Forget about all the people that subscribe to Netflix just to get this fight. But think about the ad revenue alone. How much money they made just so that people can put their logo in there somewhere. P, you're right. I subscribe just to see the fight. You see, there's a lot of people who subscribe just for this one fight. So now you got Netflix for the rest of the month, or you can watch shows and, watch Stranger Things or, something else, whatever you want to watch. They get a huge spike in subscriptions when these fights are going to happen. It's the same thing with Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. A lot of people subscribe to Netflix. Why? Because they wanted to watch that fight in quality. They didn't want to stream it illegally and have the shit jumping around and freezing. They wanted to really watch that fight. So they subscribed to Netflix. 1 month, bang! I need to watch that fight from home comfortably. Shaggy, that had to be the only ring around. They had a blood floor before the first fight. I said they couldn't get a better ring. Ha ha. That's what they... The thing is that's a special ring size. That's special ring size. It's bigger than the normal. So if somebody was sparring, pop, 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 got their nose broken, you can't replace that joint because that's custom made, basically. JB and product placement killing it. Psh. Bro, just for you to sit your cup down right there. Netflix gonna charge you an arm and a leg. But you're gonna have 40, 50, I don't know how many millions of people watching your product. That's it. Look, with Netflix, they unlock the cheat code. We don't need to charge pay-per-view. Put their ass on Netflix. We got a platform that we're gonna generate mad money. And they're gonna be watching a fight for their Netflix subscription. Boxing Junkie Grand Rising. And that ring was super big. It was big. That's part of the reason why Jake Paul was able to go 6 rounds. That's part of it. Because being the ring as big as it was, it allowed them a lot of room to operate. Go to the left, go to the right, a lot of moving around. But ultimately, what happened is exactly what was supposed to happen. And I told everybody this. You're not going to make a championship caliber fighter gas out in an 8-rounder. In an 8-rounder, you're going to make them gas out? Come on, my people. Come on. Jake Paul was going to do nothing but get beat up. Boxing Junkie, I thought they was fighting in a football field. And ultimately, look at this. Look at this. Still got his whole jawline, gum line, teeth line, all pushed in. All shoved into his tongue. Look at that shit. How you gonna chew gum? How you gonna chew anything? Imagine people saying that the fight is scripted, even after seeing that. My man gum line looking like a rainbow, like that. Whoop! If you're not seeing it clearly, this is the jaw, this is the gum line right here, pushed in. This is the teeth line pushed in, and look at his tongue. All of that shit shoved into his tongue, my people. And you still think it's scripted? You got your whole shit pushed in like that? How can you think something like that is scripted? Whole joint pushed in into his mouth. Grasshopper. Jake Paul is trash. I mean, listen, compared to world championship caliber fighters, he's trash, of course. Boxing Junkie, I love it. But give that man his flowers. He got good ass whooping to get accepted. Now, I give him his credit. Cadet, strokes and all. I give him his credit. And I've been saying it. you have to understand that Jake Paul had the balls to get in there with a heavyweight champion of the world. Two-time heavyweight champion of the world. Olympic gold medalist. Like somebody who has such a great career. But he was supposed to be outclassed and knocked out. And that's exactly the way that it played out. It's how it was supposed to. JB, Stranger Things have Eagle Waffles a resurgence, and the stock went crazy. They see now how to finesse the bag. Get paid nothing will go back to old days. Netflix king at the moment. Bro, that's it. Netflix is taking over. They unlocked the key. The fighters can make a shitload of money, and we don't have to charge the fans $80, $90 for a card. That's it. You're going to have a hard time selling these pay-per-views when these people can give you these big fights just for subscribing. Just subscribe to the channel, to the app. And then, look, somebody said it earlier in the chat. I subscribed to Netflix just to get this fight. I know people who subscribe to Netflix just to get Crawford versus Canelo. Subscribe for 1 month, let the subscription expire, and that's it. You're out of it. Cadet, high stocks in the high stocks. High stakes in the high stocks, or high stocks in the high stakes. Boxing junkie. So you think this fight gets more views than Bub versus Canelo? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if it get more or less, but I know that it get millions of views. That I know. Whether it's gonna be 20 million or 60 million, I don't really know, to be honest. But everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about it. And you know what's the beautiful thing about Netflix and how they generate that money, that ad revenue? Guess what? This is what makes it a beautiful thing for Netflix. It's like, for them, this is the gift that keeps on giving. You know what's happening right now? Right now? Millions and millions of Netflix subscribers who don't even watch boxing. The Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight is going to pop up on their next Netflix screen. And they seen it all over social media. And they're going to say, damn, everybody's talking about this. Let me see. Pop! My peoples. Right this very moment, there's people around the world who never seen a boxing match in their life watching AJ versus Jake Paul. Simply because they're Netflix subscribers. This fight popped up across the screen. Everybody on social media is talking about it. Let me see what this is about. So Netflix is making a shitload of money. Everybody's making a shitload of money, and you don't have to pay $90 to get the card. Because this is Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. This is an 8-rounder, but we saw it with Canelo versus Crawford. Same deal. You got Netflix, you can watch this fight. Handle it. Come on now. You have to understand what's going on. And then His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, who's against the high pay-per-view prices. That's it. The pay-per-view model that a lot of us grew up with, that's going to disappear. That's going to turn into a dinosaur. There's going to be no more. At one point, that won't exist. To pay $80, $90 for this card, that's not going to exist anymore. We're going to get to the point that everybody's on an app and you simply have to subscribe to the app and you get the fight. Or you could just subscribe to the app for 1 month for the fight specifically and not keep it. But it's going to be like that. Because if you think about it, look, Pete, it's on Amazon. On Amazon Prime. Matchroom on the Zone. Jake Paul and people that they're bringing over there, Netflix. Everybody's on the app. Everybody's on the app. So ultimately, the pay-per-view model that we've been seeing, that's going to die. That's going to disappear. It's not going to survive. JB, Oh yeah, that is done. No more pay-per-views. WWEC converted to cable. Dead. That's it. We got new options going on. And everybody's gonna have to stick to program. Because once you start getting all of these big fights at that rate, when somebody show up talking about $90, everybody gonna be like, $90? Man, we ain't watching that shit. That crazy. And when fans start to do that, then they're gonna have to be like, that's it. We cook with pay-per-view. We're gonna have to join the program. Billy the Kid, no problem with that. It's like the Tyson fight, where just everybody was watching it in the streaming, for it kept cutting out. But you see, and I said this before, there was never a single problem for the Mike Tyson and Canelo Alvarez fight. And you know what I said before, my brother? Think about this. Before the Mike Tyson fight, Netflix wasn't streaming fights. They was doing their movies, they were doing their shows, they were doing a lot of different things, but they was not doing big fights. And the thing is, the production of a fight and streaming a fight is very different than you streaming a show, or very different than you streaming a taped show that you're hitting play on a computer and pause and fast forward or whatever you're doing. A fight is a live event where there's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of things going on. And they were not expecting that 100 million people was going to stream it. They was not ready for that. And I told people, by the time they get to Crawford versus Canelo, these people done already had the best of the best of the best in their IT department. Handle everything that has to do with streaming to make sure that as many people as was gonna go in was gonna be able to watch it. A smooth experience with no issues. And that's how it played out. Listen, leading up to Canelo versus Crawford, a lot of people was telling me, damn, I hope it don't freeze. I hope it don't. And I told them, I like, yo, I'm confident. Netflix, we're talking about billions and billions behind that corporation. They're not going to have this mishap in such a big fight. Not happening. So they're going to get on their game. And that's what we saw. Same thing yesterday. Yesterday, we didn't see no problem with the streaming. So Netflix, they on their game, my people. Shaggy, I know people who illegally stream Netflix to watch it. They're making it harder just to watch. They make you get the subscription, of course. They make you get the subscription. They make you get that subscription. And they make a lot of money with that. And it's not only that, because let me tell you something, Shaggy. I know people that stream a lot of fights, but when it's a certain big fight that they really want to watch, they pay for it. Because, you know, when you're streaming illegally, it could freeze. The whole broadcast could just disappear. A lot of shit could happen. But if you pay for your fight, you're watching it on your TV, it's a whole different experience. Danny on the Ground. Some of Hollywood's biggest movies are showing on Netflix. Biggest movies, biggest shows, all type of stuff. Side, Jay Smith, how many views do you think AJ and Jake Paul did? It's hard to say, man, because Crawford versus Canelo did 40 million views, right? So we have to think, did this fight do more or less than that? AJ's a very big star. Jake Paul is a very big star. I don't know, man. I think it does close to that number. Maybe more, maybe less, I think close to it. When I say close, 40-something million or 50-something million. Under or over, but close to it. I'm not sure, man. It's hard to say, but I know it's millions and millions of people who tuned in to watch that fight. Shaggy, some just want to watch boxing only. They're making them get this and get that. And that's why there's those boxing fans, somebody said it earlier, who only subscribe for the fight. I'll pay 1 month to get the fight. And then for that month, I might as well watch a few shows. Watch a few other things here and there. So I'd say around 50 million. Around 50 million people, man. I wouldn't be surprised. Search MK. What about the digital currency? Do you think he lost because of the digital currencies? Nah, I think he lost because he got his ass whooped. That's it right there. Cadet. I got my weed gummies. Movie. Handle your business, my G. Handle your business. Boxing junkie. I know you probably spoke about it already, but I've been busy with life. So I'm going to ask you, what was your take on the Bud retiring? And do you think it's temporary for a bigger bag? That's a great question. So, at 38 years old and with all the accomplishments that he has, I think he's retiring at the perfect time, to be honest. Now, as a boxing fan, because I'm a fan just like everybody else, of course I want to see him fight again. That makes it bittersweet because, every time Crawford stepped in the ring, he gave us a good fight. So you want to get more of that. But just as a person, I say, yo, you did it, and you did it all the way at the top. You won the biggest fight as the underdog. What better way to go? Like, you really going out on top. And then I'm going to say, he put that number out there, $100 million. If they pay him the $100 million, I say that he'll come back. If you don't want to pay me that money, I think he might not come back. Because Terrence Crawford is a wealthy man. He has the type of money that he won't have to work ever. His kids won't have to work ever. His grandkids won't have to work ever. It's that type of money. When you go over $100 million, when you own as many properties as he has, when you have as many endorsement deals as he has, this guy never have to work a day in his life. So I think we all knew that he wanted to go to 160 and accomplish more. But if that's not there to be made, go ahead, retire. And retire on top of the world. So I respect it. Side, I feel like Buzz saying he retired unless they give him 100 mils for a good fight. Yeah, that's basically it. That's how I'm taking it too. I'm retiring. If you want to give me 100 million, that's enough money for me to say I'll come back. But I don't need to. I got all type of money. And I'm healthy. And I'm in good shape. Cadet, my broken tooth need dental gum. Man, listen, Jake Paul gonna need all type of stuff. All type of stuff. He got his whole shit pushed into his tongue. Shaggy, Anthony and Tyson will be the next fight. And a good fight for them both. Look, Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury is a fight that we wanted to see a long time ago. Obviously, when they were both undefeated. So, yes, it lost some of that lackluster, some of that sparkle, I meant to say. But we still want to see it. It's still a big fight. AJ and Tyson Fury stepping in the ring is something that most of us will be tuning in to watch. Reynaldo Paredes. Okay, Reynaldo, take a 24-hour break. Express yourself in church. And we talking boxing over here. Salute to you. Respect your religion and everything. But we're not here to talk about that, my guy. You're going to have to do that at church. Trick Nolte. It landed, but not with the type of force he hit Nagano. I mean, how much force did you want, bro? How much, like, his gum line is pushed in. His teeth line is shoved into his tongue. Look, look. You don't think, you know the type of force, bro, that it takes to push your gums and your teeth into your tongue like that? It takes a lot of force, my guy. A lot of force. I'm going to put it to you like this. Jake Paul is more damaged. I promise you, Trick Naughty. Jake Paul is more damaged than Francis Ngannou. He's more, that right there was more damaging to Jake Paul, who I guarantee you is in the hospital, probably already got the surgery and shit shut down, wired shut, was more damaging than the punch that slept Ngannou. They both took a monster shot. But where Jake Paul took it and how he took it, whole shit pushed in like that? Nah, bro. Nah. He cooked. Jake Paul is cooked right now. He's gonna be eating through a straw. He gonna be strawing it. Looking goofy as hell. Ask no. Jake Paul would KO Ngannou. They offered the fight. They actually offered the fight to Francis Ngannou. But he didn't want to take it. Trick Naughty. Yes, it was a speed and timing shot. Good punch. But I felt he took something off of it, not to hurt him. I don't know. I did not get that at all, man. What I got is that Anthony Joshua was trying to knock his head off. I think, Trick Naughty, you already had it in your mind that this fight was going to be scripted. So you're still like, nah, I think he put some of it. Bro, that type of injury, you don't cause it by pushing some of it off, bro. That type of injury, you put everything you had in it. I need you to understand that, my guy. Because look at this, Trick Naughty. Remember that I told you this. When you get your jaw broken, right, it gets pushed to the side, like that, chung. But it goes further than it should. Ka, and that's what breaks it. It snaps. Jake Paul's jaw didn't just twist like this. It ain't just twist. He got punched so hard that it indented his teeth line, his gum line, and his jaw line. Brother, you're not understanding the type of force that it takes for you to do this. He didn't just twist his shit. His fist rocked into that shit and literally shoved it into his tongue. Bro, look at his tongue. Look. You don't think he put enough force? Man, listen, I don't know what to tell you, my guy. I'm showing you. Just use your imagination to try to think about the force that it takes to do that shit with a boxing glove. I'm going to put it to you like this, bro. Most people don't even have the strength to cause that type of injury. Most people, you go like this, give me your best shot that you could ever give me, and they can't cause that type of injury with a boxing glove on. With a 10-ounce boxing glove, yo, you're not causing that injury. That shit must have been like 5,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. And I don't even know how to measure that shit. That was thousands of pounds of pressure per square inch applied to Jake Paul mouthpiece. Whole snack box is messed up right now. Cadet, boxing forever. Y'all know what it is, man. We love the sweet science. That's what this is about. I know I've been here for 2 hours and didn't even get 60 likes, but it's all love. Salute to everybody tuning in and salute to everybody ghost watching this shit. God damn. Trick Naughty. I get it, Jay Smith. I was talking with Canadian heavyweight Kirk Johnson. And he feels the same. And he's a pro. I am not. I'm just offering my opinion. Look, I respect it. But all I'm saying is that we have to, because there's professional fighters who were saying that this fight was probably going to be scripted. There's professional fighters who are like, I don't know, man. I think this fight is going to be scripted. I think that, something is going to. There's people who put $100,000 on Jake Paul. 100,000 thinking, nah, man, he's going to win because he's going to. But all I'm saying, take this into consideration, my peoples. Would Jake Paul script a fight so that he could get beat up? Think about it. So that he gonna script a fight like, yeah, yo, I'm gonna look goofy as hell out there. I'm gonna be rolling in the floor and I'm gonna be dropping on my knees. I'm gonna just look goofy. Nah, of course not, my peoples. If that was a scripted fight, Jake Paul would have been competitive. He would have been landing his own punches. He would have been looking sharp, moving. He would have been landing combinations. But we didn't see none of that. We saw Jake Paul looking like an amateur out there, like a goofball. Joey, for $92 million, of course. Of course, he's one of the best businessmen in boxing. But it doesn't matter for how much money you're doing it, Joey. You're still going to look like a goofball. Like if you step in the ring right now with an elite level boxer, he could give you $1 million, $2 million, whatever it is. You're going to make a lot of money. That's not going to change that you're going to be out there looking like a goofball getting beat up. That's still going to be the case. Boxing junkie, man, anything is possible in this world. But this was real. I mean, golly, if we see this and still think it wasn't real, we never wanted to believe that it was real. That's all it is, bro. Trick Noti, I never said it was scripted. Bro, I never said you said it was scripted. Well, what are you defending yourself from? I don't know what you're defending yourself from, bro. It's a lot of people that saying it's scripted that believe it's scripted. Joey, but I'm not going to be able to go 6-rounder either. You see, so here's the deal. There's a lot of factors that have to be taken into consideration for this fight. But some people don't want to take it into consideration. And let me give you an example. When people say that a guy is rusty or that he's been inactive, they only use that narrative when it fits their argument. When it fits the narrative that they like. Oh, he's rusty. He's rusty. He ain't fighting no more. Anthony Joshua hasn't been in the ring in over a year. So he's not supposed to have any ring rust because he's fighting Jake Paul over a year without stepping in the ring after a loss. But he's supposed to just step in there because it's Jake Paul, bang, 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 and blast him out of there in 1 minute. Meanwhile, we got Jake Paul running around. Ah, there we go. Nettie Mitchell. Jake looked like Otis on Martin, bouncing around like a fool. You see, like a goofball. And I tell people, just because you're a knockout puncher doesn't mean you can knock out a guy that's running around the ring like a goofball. Anthony Joshua can't just take off his right hand and fling it across the ring and knock him out with it. You knock people out because you exchange and you catch them with the right shot that you need to knock them out. How you gonna knock out a motherfucker that's running around? How? Boxing junkie. Like you said, the reason it were 6 is because the ring was one of the biggest ring I've ever seen. It was a big-ass ring. Jake Paul put that in place to give himself some space. But I said it during the fight, my peoples. By the time they got to round number 5, Jake Paul wanted to quit. You didn't see when he tried to fake a leg injury and try to limp a little bit? He wanted to quit. He wanted a way out. He wanted to say, no, I can't keep going. But he realized, how I'm going to fake a leg injury? They're going to look at the replay and see I didn't even twist my ankle. I didn't twist shit. I'm going to tell them I'm hurt. But he wanted out of that fight. By the time they got to the 5th round, he was completely out of gas. All that stuff that he did, all that moving around that he did, he was out of gas already. Crypto. I was scripted for first 4 rounds, but the script was closed. Nah, there was no script. That's just fake conspiracy theories. I know it makes it more interesting to say, yo, it was scripted. They planned this and they planned it. It sounds more interesting, but no, it wasn't scripted. What happened is what was supposed to happen. Trick Noti. Just the way you were presenting it to me, I wasn't presenting it to you, bro. It's 46, 50, 60 people in here, my guy. I'm not presenting it to you. Look, there's somebody right now saying that it was scripted. Crypto is saying that it was scripted. Crypto, Jake running, and they have no cardio. Ran out of wind. That's exactly what happened, but that's why I'm telling you that Jake Paul is a goofball. If we watched him fighting before, if you watch all of his fights, he don't win on footwork. He not using footwork to win fights. That ain't about footwork. Oh, now you learn footwork, and now you're gonna use your new learned footwork on a 2-time heavyweight champion of the world. You're bound to get beat up. Bound to get beat up. Trick Noti. Yeah, he wanted to quit. If he had quit, social media would have been all over him. Yo, he was dying to quit. And I'm gonna tell you something. Jake Paul is the type of person who always wants to look good, who always wants to look cool no matter what. So he didn't want to look like, oh, you quit. He didn't want to get that. But he wanted out of that fight by the time they got to the 5th, when he realized, okay, I'm out of gas. I can't keep bouncing around anymore. Once he realized that, he wanted out. That's it. He wanted out of there. How you think you're going to show up with your brand new footwork and beat AJ like that? You was bound to get beat up. Bound to get beat up. Just look at it. And that's, the funny thing about this is that people said it was going to be staged and it was going to be scripted. And I told you guys, Jake Paul's going to get knocked out brutally and they still gonna say it's fake. My man's got his jawline, gum line, teeth line pushed in, shoved into his tongue, and they still think it's fake. I told you guys. That's the thing. Once you convince yourself about a conspiracy, you don't want to let go of that conspiracy. You're gonna cling on to it for dear life. This dude gonna have his jaw wired shut for like 4 weeks, 6 weeks, some crazy shit like that. Jake Paul gonna be eating through a straw. And they still think it was fake. Crypto broke his jaw. Like, my peoples. What more do we, like, it's almost like they wanted to, the only way they thought it was going to be real is if Jake Paul was going to get killed. Jake Paul had to get killed out for them to be like, damn, yeah, it was real. And at first, his death, he faked his death. He's hiding somewhere in Cuba with Tupac. Nah, my people, look. It was pretty real for Jake Paul. And that surgery that he's going through is pretty real. That surgery, getting his jaw wired shut, that's going to be pretty real. So while you could sit there watching TV like, oh, this is fake, this is all fake, that shit is real as fuck and painful as fuck. Painful as hell. Come on, my people. Look. I don't understand how we can look at this and think it was fake. I just don't even get it, bro. I don't know how to answer to it. Trick Noti. I remember James Butler hit Richard Grant with gloves after the loss, broke his jaw. He messed up Grant bad. And he was arrested on national TV. Y'all remember that? On Friday Night Fights. Of course I remember that. That was on ESPN. And if I'm not mistaken, it was Teddy Atlas that was on the... Was it Teddy Atlas that was on the commentary? I think it was Teddy Atlas. With a monster shot. He actually was going to give him a hand. Like, you know, sportsmanship. And this dude just out of nowhere sucker punched him. Boom. Monster shot. K-Biz. Eric, we all would. Darren, Jake got rattled by that shot. That was a nasty one. Trick Nolte, Teddy, and Joe Tessitore. I knew Teddy Atlas was up there. In the building. That was nasty. That was nasty. He deserved to go to jail for that one. Jarrell Roosberg. Shit happens. It does. Shit happens. But in this case, what was supposed to happen, happened, and people don't want to believe it's real. Boxing fans, man. We love the conspiracies. Without a good conspiracy, the fight is not interesting for y'all, for some of y'all. You need to believe in that there's something more to what we saw. But in reality, what we saw is what happened. Darren holding AJ leg like a baby. So I ask you, Darren, do you think Jake Paul was going to script a fight where he's going to be rolling around like a goofball? You think he's going to script a fight so he could look like a dummy out there? Like all that money Eric Gomes is talking about, Jake Paul could make it looking good. He could make it looking good, but he going to script a fight to look like a dummy out there. Embarrass himself. Natty Mitchell. Like Rocky manager said, Jake wasn't fighting bumps coming up and fighting last night. Jake met his match. Listen, man, Jake Paul was fighting a level of opposition that comes nowhere near close to Anthony Joshua for many different reasons. A lot of them are washed up or don't box or smaller than him. AJ had every advantage. Bigger, stronger, heavier, more experienced. Every single advantage. This is exactly what was supposed to happen. What we expected to happen is what happened. He was supposed to go to sleep. Trick Nolte. Straight right by AJ. Threw the jab to the body. Then came up top with the right hand. Call it scripted. Call it the right hand. Call it scripted. If fiasco, but that was a perfect 1-2, and AJ needs to get more credit for that display. Man, listen. That right now, that's the shot heard around the world because people think it's scripted, but I'm looking at Jake Paul's mouthpiece. I'm looking at Jake Paul's snack box, and that don't look scripted to me. It doesn't at all. Natty Mitchell grabbing on legs. Yo, he looked goofy as hell, man. Grabbing on his knees, falling. But it's like I said earlier, all that moving around he did to survive the first 4 rounds, he was completely done by the time he got to the 5th. He kept falling like that because his legs was jelly, and he was trying to buy himself time. He wanted out, my peoples. Trick Nolte. Hard to KO him in the ring, but this guy kept running like a gazelle. No, he didn't want to exchange. He knew what was coming. Darren, AJ said he should have KO'd him in the first round. I mean, like I said, man, AJ can't take off his hand and throw a punch at him from across the ring. You can't do that. You knock out guys when they're engaging you. Can't stop a guy who's not going to fight. Darren, JP may have spirit, but he never had the experience. AJ shook him to the core. And I'm going to tell you like this. I don't know if you caught it. In the first round, Anthony Joshua caught Jake Paul with a counter right hand. Jake Paul was attempting to do this. Like go in and lunge and throw like 3-4 punches, like a quick flurry. And in between those punches, AJ did one of these. Bang! And caught him flush in the head, like right in the temple, like right around here. Boom! And Jake Paul started moving. That was the only big punch that landed in the first round from AJ. And I guarantee you that very moment, Jake Paul knew that he was heavily outclassed. That moment right there. He knew it. He knew it. Trick Nolte. I'm out, Jay Smith. My brother, salute. Appreciate you dropping in this Sunday morning. You know what it is. We talking boxing. Tomorrow, check me out, man. Boxing for breakfast, 6:30 a.m. Eastern time. Have a good one, my brother. Bam. Nettles Mitchell. Yes, sir. Darren. Did he get jelly legs? Them legs was jelly. Legs was jelly, bro. And I'm going to show you. Look. I'm going to give you the first evidence that he didn't have his legs, and that's why he was out there looking like a goofball. Look at the first 4 rounds, right? In the first 4 rounds, you saw a lot of this from Jake Paul, right? But look at my legs. You saw Jake Paul moving around with that wide stance. Bam, 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 moving, making AJ chase him, right? That requires a lot of energy, a lot of cardio. When they got to 5th round, you saw Jake Paul fighting like this now. That wide stance that allowed him to move around wasn't there no more because the legs was gone. So now he's standing up, moving around. Now, he don't have that same type of mobility. So what did he start to do? The good old jab and grab. 2 punches and grab. He started going into that clinch because he was on survival mode. He already knew, I can't beat this guy. Let me try to survive. So what happens when you're running around and you run out of gas? You cooked. You're bound to get one of these. Your whole shit shoved into your mouth. The Black Gen X. What will you do for $90 million? I mean, that's a lot of money. Salute to Jake Paul. Salute to Anthony Joshua. Darren, I only seen the finishing round. Whew. Yeah, he was gassed out. By the 5th round, Jake Paul was already gassed. He was already cooked. On his way out. Daniel Negron. I thought it was real with the leg grabbing. Yo, once you saw him on his knees grabbing legs like a baby, you knew it was problems. That's it. He didn't have nothing left. And I'm telling you, my peoples, Jake Paul thought about quitting. He thought about quitting, my peoples. Look. Tell me you didn't see that moment in the 5th round when he went like this and tried to act like he had a leg injury. Tell me I didn't see when he was like. You didn't see that? And then right after that, he was normal again. Normal. My mans was going to act like he twisted his ankle and he was getting ready to quit. He just realized, damn, yo, but I didn't twist my ankle. That shit is going to be on tape. That's what really happened. He was going to go, wait. He was going to pull one of those. But you didn't twist shit. How you going to say you twist your ankle if it's on TV? So once he realized he couldn't fake that, he just kept fighting. and waiting for his time to get knocked out. Because that's the thing. If you fighting with somebody who's outclassing you, you're just waiting for the moment for them to beat your ass. That's what you're getting. Danny on the ground. Yeah, like confused or something. Why you limping? Why is you limping? Flip mode. Pack Jake and his gloves and get him the F out of boxing. Listen, man, it's my duty to be honest with you. Jake Paul's not going anywhere. There you have it. I have to keep it real, right? Jake Paul is not going anywhere. He's simply gonna step down in competition a lot. Now he knows. He found out what happens if he fights a world champion. Because he's been doing a lot of sparring with heavyweight fighters, with fighters, elite level fighters. He's been sparring with elite level guys, sparring with Shakur. But you gotta understand, a sparring with somebody that's helping you is not gonna be the same as a fight. In sparring, these heavyweights, they not trying to knock you out. These heavyweights, they getting paid to spar with you. They not going to be out of a job due to sleeping you. So they're going to let you work. They're going to let you do things because you're developing. AJ's not going to let you work. He's not going to let you do the things that you thought you was going to do. You watch that fight, at no point in time was Jake a threat. Like, oh shit, it looked like he might win. No. He fought to survive and ultimately got caught. The reality. Natty Mitchell. It was all entertainment for Jake. He said it wasn't entertainment with AJ. Man, listen. That fight right there, I think it opened Jake Paul's eyes to the fact that he's just nowhere near as good as he think he is. D-Roll, Jake was on his knees a lot. Man, rolling around looking like a goofball. Look like a goofball out there. Wavy Zen, I definitely think he can get a belt. I don't know how you feel. I'm not understanding that, bro. I don't know how would you feel. His only fight with a professional fighter was with Tommy Fury. He lost. That was like a C-level fighter. Tommy Fury will never be a world champion in his life. And with AJ, he got pulverized. Like, I'm not sure what is that you seen in Jake Paul that tells you he could be a champion. I don't see it, bro, at all. Nothing about Jake Paul tells me. Forget about being a champion. I don't see Jake Paul beating a contender. The top 10 guys, he don't beat those guys. Flip mode. Al Booger. What if his jaw is permanently compromised now? I mean, if that's the case, it could land him, it could get him out of boxing. And then from that point on, he would just be a promoter. He still got his MVP going on, a lot of fighters that he's signing. So Jake Paul is going to be a part of boxing. Flip mode. Jay, you said Josh was going to pummel him, and he did that. Another great prediction, Jay Smith. Appreciate it, my brother. And I also said that it could go, X amount of rounds if Jake Paul was going to use survival tactics. We saw the survival tactics. The running from the beginning, the excessive clenching, dropping to his knees like a goofball just to waste time on the clock. We saw all of it. Wavy Zen. Yeah, his chin might be cracked for his career. We'll see if they can fix that, man. Because look, it's like I try to tell you. He got the jawline, the gum line, and the teeth line. Bro, that shit is shoving into his tongue. Shit is pushed in. I don't know how he's going to recover from that, but it's going to take some time. Whole shit pushed in, my people. Natty Mitchell. Yeah, he said he needed to go back to his weight contender to fight. Yeah, he said he was going back down to cruiserweight and challenge for a title or something like that. It's like, yo, my people's Jake Paul is not even going to beat the guys that you have to beat to get a title shot. You'll never beat any of those guys. Forget about beating a champion. The guy that you got to beat to climb up the rankings, He's not going to beat those guys. Jake Paul will not beat somebody ranked in the top 20 in any division. Not forget about the top 10. Top 20. The guy ranked number 20 is whooping his ass at cruiserweight, light heavyweight, wherever he wants it. Whooping him. The Black Gen X influencer heavyweight champion. There you go. He's the YouTube heavyweight champion of the world. Wavy Zen, I take back my belly comment. That fight was horrendous. Oh, the belt comment. That fight was horrendous. Look, my peoples, I gotta tell you, my expectations were met. A lot of people hit me up yesterday and say, yo, it was so satisfying to watch Jake Paul get knocked out. And Jake Paul make himself an unlikable guy by saying that he's the best of this generation, he's as great as Ali. He said so many stupid things that people wanted to see him get knocked out, and he got knocked out. But I give him his credit. Step in there versus a heavyweight champion of the world. And it's so big that he did that even after he got knocked out, people don't want to believe it's real. Like if you see this and you don't want to believe it's real, my peoples, you never wanted to believe it was real. Look, it don't get more real than that. It just doesn't get any more real than your teeth, your gum line, your jawline pushed into your tongue, shoved in. Can it really be more real than that? Flip mode. He better not ever say Bud Crawford's name again. I mean, look, when somebody gets hurt the way that he got hurt, it really humbles them down. They don't want to show it sometimes. Like Jake Paul's a guy who has a huge ego. He don't want to show it. But you saw how he was humbled when they asked him, oh, so who you going to fight next? He's always calling out names, right? He's always like, I want this guy, I want that guy. This time you're like, no, I'm going to rest. I'm going to take my time. I've been going hard for the last few years. Well, fuck you mean you've been going hard? You've been fighting washed up fighters, retired fighters, MMA fighters, non-fighters, basketball players. You've been going hard. I disagree with you. You've been going hard. You've been going super hard in the gym, but you ain't been going hard in the ring with your opponents. But he got humbled down. And I told you guys, Anthony Joshua went into this fight as someone who felt disrespected. Like, this guy really believes that he could beat me. I'm going to show him a lesson. That's the type of mentality that he went into that fight with. Wavy Zen, Crawford would moonwalked on his forehead. Plan. Dude stood 6 rounds with AJ. That's respect. Well, wait a minute, because you're phrasing it wrong. Dude stood 6 rounds. Let's keep it 100, my brother. You know that he did not stand 6 rounds. He ran 4 rounds, ran out of gas, and then got beat up the last 2 rounds. But the point that you are making, as far as giving him credit, I agree. I give him credit because he did step in there versus a heavyweight champion of the world, a 2-time heavyweight champion of the world in Anthony Joshua. So I give him credit for that. But he did not, my guy, stood 6 rounds with AJ like you're saying. That did not happen. That definitely did not happen, my guy. He ran around, and when he ran out of gas, he had no choice because he had no legs. Time to get beat up. Out booger. Yeah, take a break, Jake. Good idea. He gonna need it. He gonna need it with that broken jaw like that. Plan. How can you talk with such tone when you're not a fighter yourself? That is just such a women behavior. Rewatch the fight. He then ran and had good punches on AJ. So, clearly you're new to the channel. So let me just say this. Number 1, the first 4 rounds, Jake Paul did not engage. The first 4 rounds, he moved around a lot. Whether you want to, and for you to tell me to watch the fight is funny. I was actually calling it live, so you're definitely new to the channel. I call the fights live. So I invite you to go to my live and watch me calling it. There wasn't a heck of a lot of action. In fact, let me show you plan that there's a very good possibility you don't know shit about boxing. I'm almost sure that you don't know shit about boxing. But let me show you. In the first 4 rounds, none of those 4 rounds, Jake Paul threw over 15 punches. What do you think was happening during those 4 rounds when Jake Paul wasn't throwing a lot of punches? What do you think he was doing? You think he was just standing in the middle of the ring in front of AJ when the punch output was close to 0? So you don't know what you're talking about. And then this guy said woman's behavior, man. You clearly a dummy. I got to get you out of here. I don't even got time for you to respond. You a dummy. Bye. I read the whole thing. He a dummy. We don't need him over here. Flip mode. The way you have Jake's picture up in the background with his mouth open, I thought this was a dentist channel. Wavy Zen. He bet on Jake. Yeah, he definitely put money on Jake Paul. He's saying that he wasn't running. You're feminine. He wasn't running. Shut your dummy ass up. Dummy. Marie. I see people giving more credit to Jake Paul and discredit Joshua, but they forget what Jake Paul did. He ran the whole time, and he dived every single time. Joshua threw some Jake dive on AJ knees. Of course, I recognize that. And I said that before the fight. Jake Paul can last rounds by using survival tactics. What's the survival tactic? Run, run, run. Jab and grab, run some more. Take a punch and clinch, run some more, to the left, to the right. Jab to the left, to the left, to the right. Clinch. That's what we saw. That's the reason why he lasted up to that round. If he would have said let's box, he would have went to sleep in the first one. No, people don't understand that. They think that a fighter who's a knockout artist should knock out everybody on the spot, even if they're not in front of him. Even if they don't engage you, you got to knock them out because you're a knockout artist. That's not the way that it works. But if you don't know shit about boxing, you believe that it does. The Black Gen X, Mike Tyson going to want some more money. I mean, supposedly Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather going to do an exhibition. Wavy Zen, you can't engage when you're running for your life. How are you going to hit somebody from across the ring? Come on. People don't understand how knockouts work. We got to exchange each other. You know how knockouts work? Because people think knockouts is just power. You know how knockouts work? When I land a punch with the right pressure and at the right time. That's the key right there. At the right time. So if you land the right hand when I'm backing away from you and I go like this and boom, and you kind of hit my face and some of my arm, that right hand is not going to knock me out. But if I'm coming in with a right and you catch me first with yours, boom, I might go to sleep on the spot with the same right hand. So it's not just about power when it comes to the knockouts. It's about the timing. Look at the best knockouts that you've seen. And how do they happen? When fighters are engaging each other. The best knockouts don't happen when somebody's running all over the ring and somebody chasing them around. They happen when they at point blank range trading leather and boom, somebody get caught. And professional fighters, people doing commentary, coaches, people say that all the time in boxing. It's very hard to stop a fighter that's there to survive. That's hard to do because you got to chase him around. And that type of punch that's going to knock him out is hard to land it, especially if he's running, clinching, moving, grabbing, throwing himself all over the floor to kill time on the clock. Jake Paul was doing everything he could do to survive. Cedric Camp, when a little boy gets scared, he runs and holds daddy's legs. Danny on the ground. I don't like expedition bouts. Man, listen. Anthony Joshua had to get after him. Shy Guy, glad to see AJ didn't sold. There's people that saying that even with this damage to the mouthpiece of Jake Paul, there's people out there still saying that it was scripted. Supreme Green Lawn Care. I thought the undercard was fire, especially at first fight. Yo, those fights was good. Fights was good. And Alicia Baumgartner went to war. Love that fight. We're going to be talking about it tomorrow. By the way, my peoples, subscribe to Box Center 2.0. Goofiest of the oofiest only goes live on Box Center 2.0. And guess who's going to be our nominee for Goofiest of the oofiest of this week? Who do you guys think should be the goofiest of the oofiest of this week? Natty Mitchell. If Jake was doing all of the above. The Black Gen X, I feel you, Unc. But Jake don't really training to beat the best. He do it for the bag. Now, I can't agree with you, my guy. And I'm going to tell you why I can't agree with you. Jake Paul is someone who, if you look at his training, he's training with legit trainers in the best gyms. He's training with world caliber fighters. He's putting a lot of money and a lot of time into boxing. He's training to beat the best. He just doesn't have the talent to beat the best. He's never going to have. If you don't have that talent, it don't matter how hard you train. Because I could tell you, for the last 5-6 years, Jake Paul been going hard with boxing, bro. He been going super hard. But if you started boxing late, that's not enough. That's not enough. So what we see from Jake Paul is that at a lower level, he could be a good boxer, a decent boxer, at a lower level. But at the highest level, he's a bum. He was out there looking like a goofball. And look, I tell this to people all the time. I personally know what it is, my brother, to be outclassed. I know what it is to be outclassed. Why? Because I was an amateur boxer and I didn't win all of my fights. I lost. But when I lost, it was competitive. We went back and forth. We traded leather. And I got beat. But when I sparred with professionals in the gym, I got outclassed. And I know what that is. When you're being outclassed, your opponent is one step ahead of you all the time. The little feints that I use with the amateurs, that shit didn't work. They wasn't biting on those feints. I'm slipping a punch to try to catch you down low. Guess what? When I slip that punch, another one catch me over here. Boom! And I didn't even get off my counter shot. I'm trying to do a little back step and a counter. I do a back step. I'm coming back. Boom! I'm getting hit with something. When you're outclassed, your opponent is able to do more than you and be more effective at every turn. There's not a lot. You start feeling this sense of helplessness. Like, I'm going to try, but you're just too good for me. Jake Paul found out that he was outclassed in the first round, my peoples. In the first round, he ate the only right hand. It's the only right hand that landed in the first round. Boom, a hard one. And Jake Paul right then and there knew that he was outclassed. I'm telling you, because I know what it is to be outclassed in the ring. And Jake Paul knew it. So he used every survival tactic that he can use to avoid getting knocked out. But he ran out of gas. So he got knocked out. That's what was supposed to happen. That's exactly what was supposed to happen. Nettie Mitchell, yes, a lower level boxer, he will be good. You see what I'm saying? If you match him up against lower level boxers, he could be competitive. Because if you look at the fight with Tommy Fury, he lost, but that was a competitive fight. In fact, I think Tommy beat him by split decision. It was a competitive fight. But you're not going to compete with world championship caliber fighters. This is what's going to happen every time out if he try to do it again. Out Booger. That happened to me in basketball. It's eye-opening, like, damn, you just can't do anything. And I'm glad that you bring up basketball because that's really for any sport. If you're being outclassed, there ain't shit you could do. You're being outclassed. Somebody's just that much better than you. Daniel Negron, blood and boxing is not scripted. I mean, like I said, man, when you see an injury like this one and you still think it's scripted, it just means that you never wanted to believe that it was real. You know, oh shit, my people, I'm running out of charge over here. My phone is about to turn off. Hold on, my people. My phone is about to turn off, y'all. Oh shit. Oh shit, my peoples. We running out of battery, ladies and gentlemen. Thomas Williams, so glad Jay got humbled. But honestly, he was jogging around the ring in the first 3 rounds. Then he started grappling. Like, honestly, it was a matter of time when AJ got his shot off. And you see, because what you're saying, my brother, you're going off of logic. That's what everybody should understand that happened. That's just logic. He ran around thinking that, I don't know how he thought a world championship caliber is going to run out of gas in 8 rounds. But Jake Paul ran around and ultimately ran out of gas, and that's what was supposed to happen. Got stopped brutally. But if you wanted to believe it was fake from the beginning, there's people that see this and still say the shit is fake. Like, this dude is probably already having a surgery or is going through surgery. That shit is going to take 4 to 6 weeks. Jaw wired shut. Look at his mouth. Look at his mouthpiece. Whole shit pushed into his tongue, my people. That shit is going to be 4 to 6 weeks of recovery, baby. And people still think this shit is fake. I don't know what to tell them. Can't figure it out. My peoples, I want to give a shout out to everybody tuning in. This was another episode of Boxing for Breakfast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. And by the way, Box Center 2.0. Subscribe, my peoples. Goofiest of the oofiest is going to be lit on Monday. I'm already telling you, Jake Paul is the nominee for goofiest of the oofiest of this week. Shout out to everybody tuning in. Nettie Mitchell, Shy Guy, Thomas Williams, the Black Gen X, Shy Guy, Al Booger, JJ Zendejas, John Parham, Daniel Negron, and everybody else who tuned in, my people. So I really appreciate y'all, man. This Sunday morning, you guys decided to spend a little bit of time with me talking boxing, going over what happened yesterday. Tomorrow, we're going to revisit Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua, but we're also going to talk about Alicia Baumgartner's fight. My peoples, Alicia Baumgartner went to war. What a fight. Kind of reminded me of Abdullah Mason versus Sam Noakes, because Abdullah Mason had an opponent that would not go away. Had an opponent that you knew, you had to beat him up for 12 rounds. Well, Alicia Baumgartner had the same type of opponent. She won the fight, outclassing her, but the young lady Badoin got my respect. Kept going forward, kept punching, kept landing big shots. And by the way, shout out to Alicia Baumgartner. We talking about 12 rounds of action, 3-minute rounds for the ladies, my peoples. It was 3-minute rounds for 12 rounds, and Alicia Baumgartner went to war. So, salute to Alicia Baumgartner. Salute to Anthony Joshua. And let's give the flowers to Jake Paul, man. We've been asking him to get in there with a real fighter, get in there with a championship fighter. He did it. He did it. That's what we wanted to see, and we got it. My peoples, y'all already know what it is, man. This was another episode of Boxing for Breakfast. I'm Jay Smith. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. Let's have a good time today, man. Bam. Peace out, my peoples. One love to everybody, yo.